to be who I am, glad to be who I am. I'm so glad to be who I am, glad to be who I am. Riding my bike down a haunted hill, if the wind don't catch me, then nothing will. It don't much matter if I'm Jack or Jill, I'm glad to be who I am. I'm so glad to be who I am, glad to be who I am. I'm so glad to be who I am, glad to be who I am. Hello, you guys. Hi, Waltham and Kingston, Southwick and Halifax, and anyone else who's tuned in. I want to thank you, one, for wonderful things that you sent us this week, and two, for calling in. This is our third show in our series. You heard about kids who saved themselves. You heard about kids who saved their families. And when they do, how do they feel? Glad to be who they are. Let's see if you remember the song. It goes like this. I'm so glad to be who I am. Take a deep breath and let's do it. I'm so glad to be who I am. Excellent. Second line. Glad to be who I am. Let's hear you. Glad to be who I am. Whole thing, let's hear it. I'm so glad to be who I am. Glad to be who I am. Sing it again. I'm so glad to be who I am. Glad to be who I am. Awesome. I do the verses, you do the chorus. Riding my bike down a haunted hill. If the wind don't catch me, then nothing will. It don't much matter if I'm Jack or I'm Jill, 'cause I'm glad to be who I am. Your turn. I'm so glad to be who I am. Glad to be who I am. Sing it again. I'm so glad to be who I am. Glad to be who I am. I felt great to be who I was when I got your riddles. Remember last week's story? One of them was from Vietnam, and a very clever small boy saved his family by posing a riddle to a wealthy moneylender. Well, that riddle drove the moneylender so crazy, he bought it from the boy. And I asked you to think about riddles, and you did, and you came up with awesome ones. And I want to share some of them with you right now. From Webster, from the Park Avenue Elementary School. I love this. Erica Stone asks, why did the cow cross the road? Do you know? To go to the movies. Scott Derry, he asked, what screen has 4 legs and if it falls on you, it'll squish you like a bug? You know? A pool table. But of course, why didn't I think of that? Tiffany Moran. She's from the Woodland School, and she asks, so what's short and chunky and has black hair? You might have one of these in your very own house. Her dad. Mike Marks asks, who wears a pointed hat and spins round and round? A witch having a dizzy spell. And these are from Southwick. Oh, I love this one because it uses a very special witch who we heard about last week and the week before, and this is about her offspring. What do you get when you put a baby next to a monster? You get a baby Yaga. That was great. Now wait till you see this. The Fitch School in Waltham sent in a whole book of riddles. I'm going to share a couple of them with you. What has 500 tails, 50 tails, and 50 heads? 50 coins. Okay. What's the best ship of all? Do you know? It's friendship. And finally, what do you call a bull when it's sleeping? Well, of course, silly. It's a bull
Dozer! I love those. The whole book was just tremendous. Thank you very much, Fitch School. And finally, these are from kindergartners, which is what really amazed me. See if you can guess this one. It makes your feet dance, it makes your hands clap, it makes you smile, and it makes you sing out loud. What is it? You know? It's music. It makes the snow melt. It makes you smile. It keeps you warm. What is it? The sun. Good. Now this last one is very important because it's going to bring us to our first story for this week. It dries the clothes. It flies the kites. It whistles through the trees. It is the Our story is about wind. You thought about the wind and sun. With those riddles you had lots of fun. A few of you even made puns. You know what a pun is? It's when one word has two meanings, like movies. And you felt glad to be who you are. Let's hear it. I'm so glad to be who I am. Glad to be who I am. That sounds good. I'm so glad to be who I am. Glad to be who I got a story, and it's about that last riddle, This is an Abenaki tale. Abenaki, isn't that a great word? It's the name of an indigenous tribe, the Indians who lived here before us. And the Abenaki lived in upstate New York. I first heard this story from my friend Joe Bruchac, and in it he sings a wonderful Seneca canoeing song, and I want to teach it to you. It goes like this. Ki-o-wa-ji-ne, oh-we-o, ki-o-wa-ji-ne, ki-o-wa-ji-ne. Isn't that a wonderful sound? See if you can try it with me. And I'm rowing my canoe. Ki-o-wa-ji-ne, oh-we-o, ki-o-wa-ji-ne, ki-o-wa-ji-ne. One more time. Ki-o-wa-ji-ne, oh-we-o, ki-o-wa-ji-ne, ki-o-wa-ji-ne. Wonderful. In your class, I want half of you to help me sing the Seneca canoeing song. But the reason our hero can't go out is that he keeps getting pushed back by the... And the wind is made by the wind eagle. So if you're going to be the wind, put your hands out, find your wings. When you pull them back, you're going to breathe in, and then you're going to blow. Feel your wings, just like an eagle, and blow out. I want to hear you do it. Ready? Bring in your breath. And again, bring it in. One more time, breathe in. Beautiful. Those are the two things you need to know to help me with this story, which is called Gluskabe and the Wind Eagle. Gluskabe lived with his grandmother Woodchuck near the big water. And Gluskabe, he liked to make his own rules. You can hear it, even though the wind was blowing, and it is a better time to collect. Gluskabe, he wanted to hunt. Oh, look, lots of big fat ducks on the great water. I don't care about the wind, I make my own rules. I am going to paddle out and get them. And he got into his canoe and he sang his paddling song. Ki-o-wa-ji-ne-o, oh-we-o, K-O-I-G-N-A, K-O-I-G-N-A. But the wind blew him back. Help me. Breathe in. Again.
There she comes. There she goes.
Gluskabe was not happy, so he sang his song louder and harder. K-O-I-G-N-A, oh, K-O-I-G-N-A, K-O-I-G-N-A, but the wind blew harder. And Gluskabe, he paddled even harder and sang faster and louder. Help me. K-O-I-G-N-A, oh, K-O-I-G-N-A, K-O-I-G-N-A, but the wind, ready? And the wind blew him, canoe in all, pooh, right to the bank. He was very angry because he wanted to hunt ducks, and he marched right into Grandmother Woodchuck's hut. Grandmother Woodchuck, where does the wind come from? Gluskabe, why do you want to know? Because I'm curious. Gluskabe, I know you. You will get into trouble. Why do you want to know about the wind? Oh, no, Grandmother, I am just curious. Gluskabe, please, where does the wind come from, Grandmother Woodchuck? Oh, I know you. You are stubborn. You will find out even if I do not tell you. The wind comes from the wind eagle. Oh, Leonie, thank you, Grandma. Oh, Grandmother Woodchuck, where is the wind eagle? Why do you want to know, Gluskabe? I'm curious. Gluskabe. Please? I know you. You will find out even if I don't tell you. You are so stubborn, but oh, don't get in trouble. The wind eagle lives on top of the highest mountain, grandson. Oh, Leonie, thank you, Grandma. Grandma, how do I find this highest mountain? Gluskabe, just walk into the wind and you will find your way there. Oh, Leonie, thank you, Grandma. And Gluskabe, he started walking into the wind. He walked into the woods and the wind started to blow fiercely. Those of you who are the wind, help me. But Gluskabe, he was stubborn and he wanted to hunt those ducks. And so he kept walking and walking. And he came to the foothills and the wind blew even stronger. And it blew off Gluskabe's moccasins. But he kept walking up that hill and the wind came stronger. And it blew off his shirt. But it blew even harder and it blew off his pants. But oh, he wanted to hunt ducks and he kept climbing and climbing till he got high into the mountains and the wind blew so hard. It blew up all of his hair and it blew off of his eyebrows until soon he was near the top and the wind was blowing so hard he could barely stand when he saw the wind eagle on the highest peak and he threw his arms around the top of a rock. Hello, Grandfather Wind Eagle! Shh! Who calls me grandfather? It is me, Grandfather, Gluskabe. I came up here to tell you what a good job you are doing. Would you like to do an even better job? Of course, grandson. You could do it if you got on top of that peak. How could I get there? I will help you. And this is how Gluskabe helped him. He ran back down the mountain and he found a basswood tree. He stripped the bark from the outside and pulled some of the bark from the inside, and he wove them together, and he made a carrying strap. He climbed back up that mountain, and he wound the carrying strap around Grandfather Wind Eagle until it was on him so tightly he could hardly breathe.
Grandson, I can hardly breathe.
Oh, and to keep you safe, I will put this piece of sap bark on your beak. Yes, now you are ready, Grandfather Wind Eagle. I will carry you now to the other peak.
You are heavy, Grandfather Wind Eagle. Oh, you are so heavy.
And he saw a crevice between two big rocks, and he loosened the strap and... Oh, are you okay, Grandfather? Okay. Now, it is time to go hunt ducks. And Gluskabe went back, down that mountain. And it took him so long to go. Well, the hair grew all back on his head. And he found his moccasins and his pants and shirt. It was hot, though. Oh, it was so hot that the sweat came down his face and through his body and right into his moccasins. I am going to hunt ducks now. And he put his canoe in the water. And as he rowed out, he sang his song. Kio wajineo, oh, weo. Kio wajine, kio, oh. It is so hot. Oh, that is why it is so hard to get through the water. It has green scum on it. And what has happened to the ducks? It is hard to breathe. And I am sweaty. And he went running to Grandmother Woodchuck's hut. He burst right in and... Grandmother Woodchuck, the air is hot and my canoe does not go and the ducks are not there and everything is yucky. What is wrong? Gluskabe, what have you done to the wind? Me? Oh, nothing. Gluskabe, I am your grandmother. Now answer me with truth. Have you done anything to the wind? Well, I climbed up the foothills, the mountains, I got the wind eagle, I tied him up, I threw him in a little crack between two rocks, that's all, huh? Gluskabe, hot. Gluskabe, the Creator gave us the wind. The wind brings the clouds so that we can have fresh rain. The wind blows the air fresh so that we can breathe and be cool. The wind moves the face of the waters. Without it, scum grows and nothing will live. Gluskabe, without the wind, this world would be a terrible place. Oh, I think I understand, Grandmother. I'll be back. And Gluskabe climbed back through the woods, up through the foothills, up into the mountains. But this time when he got to where the wind eagle used to stand, he had all of his hair in his clothes, which he thought was a good disguise, because when he looked down in the crack, Wind Eagle was still there. Hello, Uncle! Uncle, what are you doing there? Oh, let me take that piece of sap bark from your beak. What happened?
Oh, a strange, ugly, naked man without hair said I would do better on the other mountain peak and dropped me here. I am not comfortable at all.
Oh, I will help you get out.
Thank you, grandson.
And Gluskabe, he helped Grandfather Wind Eagle. He took off the strappings and set him back up high on the mountain. Help me. Breathe in. Blow. Breathe in. I feel much better now, grandson. Yes, and you will blow your wind again. Uncle, would you do me a favor? Sometimes you can blow hard and that is good, but maybe sometimes you could blow gently. Of course, grandson Gluskabe. I will be glad to do that. And so it was, as the Creator meant it to be, that sometimes the wind eagle beats his wings, and sometimes he just softly moves them. And it is those times when Gluskabe goes out to his canoe, and that's when he hunts ducks and sings. Ki-u-a-ji-neo, ha-ha-ha-weo, ki-u-a-ji-ne, ki-u-a-ji-ne. Sing it one more time with me. Ki-u-a-ji-neo, ha-ha-ha-weo, ki-u-a-ji-ne, ki-u-a-ji-ne. Gluskabe was stubborn as a mule. He wanted to use his hunting tools, but in the end he learned to follow nature's rules, and he was glad to be who he was. Your turn. I'm so glad to be who I am, glad to be who I am. Sing it again. I'm so glad to be who I am, glad to be who I am. Gluskabe saved the world. True, he made the problem. But you know what? If you can admit that you made a problem and then be willing to try to solve it, then you deserve a lot of credit. This week, we got some wonderful stories about kids who saved their families, like the kids in last week's stories. And I want to share a couple of those with you. Our first story here is by Ashley Beenan. It's about Ashley and the black geese. One day, I saw a black goose chasing a possum, so I went home and took my magic pen and drew an eagle with it. Well, the eagle flew off of the page and scared the black goose away. The possum was safe again. I love that story because I love the fact that you could draw something and that you knew it would have the magic that you needed and take off, so to speak. Our second story, about a little girl who saved her dad. This is great. It's by Amanda Haskins. My dad fell down and broke his ankle. Looks like he did it. Oh, they must have been playing volleyball. That's what they're doing here. Her poor dad. Well, the next picture is me putting ice on my dad's ankle. Good for her that she knew to do that. I wish you could see how sad her dad was. I gave him a pill to stop the pain. Oh, Amanda. And then he felt all better. Oh, you know, you can help your parents a lot when things don't go well. And it sounds like Amanda did help her dad. Our final story is by Ellen, and it's Ellen and the Black Geese. Once upon a time, there was a girl named Ellen. Her mother and father told her to take care of the kitten because the black geese would capture the kitten. Well, Ellen played with the kitten, but she went inside to get a saucer of milk. While Ellen was inside, black geese came and picked up the kitten and flew away. When Ellen came back, she did not know where the kitten was. Then she saw a house that was brown. She went inside and there was a big rat snapping at her. Well, she saw a piece of meat. She put it on the floor and the rat ate it and let her pass. And she snatched the kitten and they ran. They ran home safely. Ellen used her head. And she is from Southwick. All of them were. Helen was thinking and she saved that small kitten from a close shave. Let your mind and your heart tell you how to behave, and you will be glad to be who you are. Let's hear it. I'm so glad to be who I am. Glad to be who I am. Sing it again. I'm so glad to be who I am. Glad to be who I am. I got one last story. This is a great story about a kid who doesn't just save himself or his family. He saves the entire town of Marblehead. It's called Zordak, the hero of Marblehead. Once, there was a superhero. His name was Zordak, the hero of, you can do this with me, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, Marblehead. Marblehead is a peninsula. That means like a finger of land jutting out into the ocean. But Zordak, he disguised himself as the everyday kid named Patrick. Now, Patrick, he loved everything you get from the ocean. He loved sand dollars, he loved lobsters, he loved fish. But the thing he loved the most was to drive grown-ups crazy, his mother would say. Patrick, dear, please take the sand dollars and the fish and the lobsters out of the tubby. And he'd answer, I don't know what that means. Oh, honey, it means that with all of your things in the tub, none of us can take a bath. Oh, I don't know what that means. It means, darling, that the whole family's starting to smell sort of funky. I don't know what that means. Until Patrick's poor mother would sing out, I don't know what that means. If he says it again, I'm going to scream. And guess what? She does. And that's your part. Whenever I sing scream, you get to scream. But here's the deal. You start to scream when I point. This means louder screaming. This means softer screaming. And here's the important one. This means off, stop, nix. No more screaming. Let's try it once with Patrick's mother. I don't know what that means. If he says it again, I'm going to... Patrick, he would go to Penny's market where the crabby store man, Mr. Penny, would stop him. Patrick, take the sand dollars and the lobsters and the shells. Get them out of here, please.
I don't know what that means.
It means that those things are going to fall on my store floor and people could slip.
I don't know what that means.
It means, young man, that my liability insurance is going to go up.
I don't know what that, you can say this part with me, means.
Until Mr. Penny, the grumpy store man, would sing out, I don't know what that means. If he says it again, I'm going to... Patrick, he would go to visit his best friend Solomon, and he'd bring a red wagon with, lobsters and sand and seashells, and his mother, Solomon's, would stop Patrick at the door. Patrick, park that thing at the door.
Oh, sorry, but I don't know what that means.
It means that I don't like house cleaning, dear.
Sorry, but I don't know what that means.
It means my vacuum cleaner is on strike, Smarty.
Sorry, but I don't know what that means.
I don't know what that means. If he says it again, I'm going to... As a matter of fact, fact, if you were to take a boat around that finger jutting into the water called Marblehead, you could hear the entire town singing, "We don't know what that means. If he says it again, we're going to." Meanwhile, on the western coast of Australia was growing the biggest, ugliest, meanest sea creature that ever lived. It was called the bunyip. And the only thing it loved to do was eat. Of course, I have to tell you, it always ate in the style of the nation it happened to be living near. So in Western Australia, it ate zebra shark with fried egg. And then it would swim to Malaysia, where it ate six-gilled shark in lemongrass. Then it swam to India, where it ate curried tiger shark. Can I have some chutney with that, please? And then it swam around the coast of Africa, where it ate great white shark and the remainder of the minority white government. Then it swam across the Atlantic to the Caribbean, where it ate Club Med swimmers in jerk sauce. It always spit out the bathing suits, though. It hated anything inorganic. Then it swam up the coast, where it ate deep-fried Greenland shark and Coca-Cola in the style of North America, until it came to the shoreline of Marblehead, and it heard this tune. Da-da-dum, da-dum, dum, dum, da-dum, da-dum, dum. The bunyip is cruel and the bunyip is mean. If you seize the bunyip, you better start to. That's my theme song. That means they want a live, in-person appearance by me, the bunyip. Ooh. And so the bunyip made its way into the shoreline of Marblehead. Ah! Strong men fainted. Women grabbed their babies and ran inland to Peabody. The only one brave enough to face the hideous bunyip was Sordak, the hero of Marblehead. Bug off, bunyip. No way, kid. I'm here to eat. Look, why don't you just take my little sister Caroline and we'll call it even. No way, kid. I'm gonna eat the lobsters, then the shells, the crabs, the fish. Then, Shorty, I'm gonna eat. Wanna play tough, huh? Okay, you asked for it. I don't know what that means. What do you mean you don't know what that means? It means I'm gonna gobble you up without pretension. I don't know what that means. It means I'm gonna cause you pain and misery. I don't know what that means. It means I'm gonna pull your nails off your fingers and eat them without even filing them first. I don't know what that means. I'll show you. Watch. Ooh. Ooh. I should have filed them first. Get it now, short stuff? Sorry, but I don't know what that means. It means I'm gonna take the button out of your belly, and I'm gonna eat it without even sauteing it first. I don't know what that means. Yeah, I'll show you. Look, yeah, I just grab my belly and needed garlic. You got it now, kid? Oh,
I'm sorry, but I don't know what that... It means I'm gonna take your head off your body and I'm gonna throw it all the ways to Western Australia. I don't know what that... Well, I'll shows ya.
And there went the bunyip's head. Over the Club Med swimmers around the now black majority government of South Africa, beyond India, beyond Malaysia, and into the lap of a zebra shark. Well, the bunyip fell over dead. The strong men, they rose up from their faints. The mothers, they came from Peabody with their babies and Chinese takeout. Everyone yelled, "Hooray for Zordak, the hero of Marblehead!" Thank goodness, everything in Marblehead's back to normal now. Our superhero Zordak, he's taken up his disguise as the everyday kid named Patrick, who still loves lobsters and seashells and sand dollars and fish. But the thing he still loves the most is to drive grown-ups crazy. Patrick, honey, please don't just eat the top off the broccoli. Please eat the whole broccoli.
Sorry, but I don't know what that means.
Patrick, sweetheart, you put your boots on before you go out into the snow, not after.
Sorry, but I don't know what that means.
Patrick, honey, you take your clothes off before you get into the tub, not after.
Sorry, but I don't know what that means.
So that if you were to ever take a boat around that finger jutting out into the ocean, you could still hear the entire town of Marblehead singing. I don't know what that means. If he says it again, I'm going to. Patrick drove the grown-ups out of their heads. He did it through the things he said, but he saved his town, let that bunyip drop dead. Bye-bye, bunyip. He was glad to be who he was. Your turn. I'm so glad to be who I am. Glad to be who I am. Sing it again. I'm so glad to be who I am. I got a question. If the answer to this question for you is yes, yell yes when I point. This is a girl question. How many girls out there help fix things that break? Yes, girls, this is for you. In my old t-shirt and my beat-up jeans, I'm helping my mom fix the washing machine. It's a darn good thing I don't have to keep clean. I kind of like being a slob, but you know what? I'm still glad to be who I am. Your turn. I'm so glad to be who I am. Glad to be. Sing it again. I'm so glad to be. Here's a boy question. How many boys out there are awesome cooks? Yell me. All right. This is for my boys who know what to do with a frying pan. Dad and me, we cook supper for the gang. They all come over and they all complain. They say boys can't cook, but they eat it just the same. May I have thirds, please? That was wicked good. Yeah, sure, yeah. You know why? 'Cause I'm glad to be who I am. Your turn. I'm so glad to be who I am. Glad to be who I am. Sing it again. I'm so glad to be who I am. You know, I have a son. My son's name is Solomon. And Solomon, well, he has saved himself plenty of times. And me, he's done many a good deed. But one time, he sort of, like today's kids, he saved his world. Do you ever have those mornings when you're just, not you, but your parents get a little crazy and they don't listen because they have so much to do? Well, I'm like every other adult. You know, you think, I'm late, you gotta hurry up, put all your stuff in the backpack. Here's your lunch, get out into the car, come on, we're gonna be late. Oh, everything's gonna be late. Ah, I spilled my coffee on my papers. Mommy, don't bother me, I'm really busy now, come on, get in the car. Mommy, no, come on, I'm gonna miss my meeting, I know I'm gonna miss my meeting. Oh my goodness, I spilled coffee again. Mom, get in the car. It was one of those crazy mornings, you know? And when adults don't have very good ears for children's things, things can go wrong. So my Solomon, he was very smart. He put himself right in front of the door. And I said, come on, kid, we gotta get into the car. What are you crazy? We're really busy. We're really crazy. Mommy, we gotta go. Mommy, what?
Mommy, you left the stove on. Uh-oh. He saved me. He saved the house.
He saved our whole world when I wasn't listening that well. So sometimes you just have to be persistent. Oh boy. Sometimes adults don't listen real good, not to kids the way they should. Oh, if we listened better. This is how we make up songs now. Good, should, could. We need other things that rhyme. Good, should, could, would. Bud, sud, lud, mud, nud. I guess we're going to have to go for could, should, and would. Sometimes adults don't listen real good. I could have burned down my neighborhood, but he kept on talking just like he should. Thank you, kid. You made me be glad to be who I am. Your turn. I'm so glad to be who I am. Glad to be who I am. Sing it again. I'm so glad to be who I am. Glad to be who I am. I hope that you'll think about times that you saved yourself, you saved your family, and times or ways that you can save your world. Think about those stories and share them. And I hope I'll get to meet with you again. Let's just finish. And today, under the credits, you're going to get to see pictures from Sarasota, Florida. Beautiful pictures. So don't tune out until you've heard and seen everything. I'm a little smooth. I'm a little rough. I'm a little tender. I'm a little tough. We're all special people with a lot of love. Sing it with me. I'm glad to be who I am. Let's do it. I'm so glad to be who I am. Glad to be who I am. Again, I'm so glad to be who I am. Glad to be who I am. 2 more times. I'm so glad to be who I am. Glad to be who I am. Last time. I'm so glad to be who I am. Glad to be who I am.
I'm so glad to be who I am, glad to be who I am. I'm so glad to be who I am, glad to be who I am. Riding my bike haunted hill. If the wind don't catch me, then nothing will. It don't much matter if I'm Jack or Jill. I'm glad to be who I am. I'm so glad to be who I am. Glad to be who I am. I'm so glad to be who I am. Glad to be who I am. Molly girl has just one rule: to catch a giant, don't be a fool. Run real fast and stay real cool, being glad to be who you are. I'm so glad to be who I am, glad to be who I am. I'm so glad to be who I am.